Hey guys, welcome back to another video here in the Alpha Pack shop. This is the Polaris Sportsman 550 EPS build. Alright guys, so today is the day. We got to get started on this 550 build and get it going. I want to go ahead and apologize for the lighting situation in the shop. We are currently out of power. We have no juice at all. And there's a lot of clutter in here. My stepdad's been in here, so I don't want to get into that. And I've been really busy, guys, so I can't wait anymore, though. It's got to start. The 550 build is commencing. So let's go over what we have sitting over here on the table. All right, so I want to go ahead and thank Harvey's ATV Parts. Harvey, appreciate it. Got me a new mother clutcher primary over here. Nice, 2240RR is the part number. Nice and shiny, good one-way bearing that actually turns and spins. The old primary here, no such luck with that. This is rusted solid and it's corroded really bad and weak. And now it's just a paperweight. So that primary is junk. This secondary is all right. I'm gonna clean it up and we'll use that. Gotta oil that sucker up, uni all the way. That's the only thing I use. Got this new rear diff over here, new to me rear diff. OEM cycles on eBay. Got new seals thrown in her. Axle seals. The pinion seal is good. I'm just leaving that. We'll fill her up with fluid after we get it in and she'll be good to go. Got a Gates G-Force belt. 23G 3836 is the part number. I only run Gates. Here we go with the shock bushings, custom shock bushings from Derek Goodland. Appreciate it, man. Made in the USA, guys. There's a little thing if you want to get that. So here's the part number if you want to check that out for this bike. Need 2 sets, front and rear. So thank you for hooking that up. Over here we got the brake pads. Those are just cheapos. Got me an NGK spark plug to throw in it still. Right here's a GoPro. That's not going on it, but I wanted just to tell you about it real quick because I just opened this sucker. It's been sitting in a box for over a year now and finally set it up. So we're going to try and use this to do some of this video and do time lapses and whatnot, and also use it for riding videos, which may be coming up soon, guys. So I'm going to try to use that GoPro Hero 8 Black little mo, or for the first time, really. Over here we got a table full of parts that have been installed. So I haven't been sitting around doing nothing, guys. Got the airbox cleaned up, axles are ready. Everything over here is ready. You got the tie rods changed out. All the knuckles have new bearings, new bushings, sleeves, bolts, grease, you name it, it's been in it. As you can see, very greasy. Ew. Anyway, got the front support sitting here ready to go in for the new supports that to replace the broken ones. This was a pain in the butt to get out of here. This was wedged down up in here. I had to beat it out, heat it up with a torch, all kind of stuff. It's been a little bit of a nightmare, guys, and having to get more parts than expected because of the fact that all the other stuff was messed up. This belt's all dry rotted and nasty. Can't use that, it's burnt up. Got the spindles over here ready to go. Everything's ready to go. A-arms all ready to go. Got the shocks with the new shock bushings in them. That's what they look like. Just one whole piece. No sleeve in the middle. I like that. Got these all ready to rock. All new bushings and sleeves and bolts. Good to go. Ball joints, good to go. So guys, at this point, I've gone through all that. I've got everything I need over there. This, I went through the whole entire unit, got it ready to rock. Changed out a line here for the active descent control reservoir. It was broke off and had mud all in there, had to clean that. I went through this whole thing and all the little nitpicky things I went ahead and addressed before getting started. So now, we about to commence build. Here we go. Boom! Alright guys, so I've started on the front end here. Went ahead and changed these radiator support brackets out. Got them all bolted up and ready to go. Everything's nice and tight. I did have a little issue breaking a bolt down here because these holes that go through this aluminum, these bolts don't just slide through it. I had to actually thread them in or drill, and it made its own threads. It cut its own threads when I put it in. I should have used a drill bit and just made it a little bit bigger so the bolt would have slid through, and then the nut goes back here in this little retainer. So that's all good now though. And I moved on to getting the wires and stuff situated, filled up this reservoir and made sure fluid went down to the front diff. I'm trying to mount this here, which it's supposed to go right here, but the wire, for whatever reason, isn't reaching down by the motor. No matter what hole I go in, no matter where I fish this sucker, it doesn't reach. So I don't know. It's either out of a different machine or something's up. I don't know. There must be a secret to it. But anyway, well, that's the least of my worries. I got a whole lot of other stuff to do, obviously. So I'm gonna start on the front and just start working my way back. And I'm sure I'll find some other things like I found here. Check that out. They obviously flipped it, rolled it on its left side. They got a bent handlebar. So I'll have to heat this up, bend it back up to make that handlebar straight again. Just little stupid things like that, you know. But another little thing I had to address, this here intake boot. I had to silicone the hell out of it. There was cracks and stuff all through here. And I'm sorry, but that'll suck dirt up, and I'm not having that. So I've siliconed it. I'm gonna let it cure overnight. It'll get harder, and then I will be able to install that in the airbox and everything tomorrow. So, but as for right now, I can still move on by getting the front end thrown on, and like I said, work my way back. So here we go.
A little longer than a few minutes later.
Alright guys, so front end is done. Got all the bolts tight, everything's good to go. Cotter pins are in place, tie rods are installed and adjusted as good as I could for now. I will mention with these aftermarket tie rod ends, they were real long, so I had to use 4 spacers to get the castle nut where it needs to be for the cotter pin. I did that on the inner and outer. And now it's time to move on to getting the brakes all situated. So let's move on to that. All right guys, so the brakes are gonna be a bigger deal than, you know, they should be. So someone stuck the wrong bolts in the caliper brackets, boogering all the threads up when they were installed last. So I've had to re-tap these holes, and I had some OE bolts. So now we got that fixed. The cap up here sheared the bolts when I was taking them off. I did let it sit in PB for a whole day before I even attempted to take these out. But like I said, this bike's been sitting for a very long time, and everything is just rusted up and corroded up, and it's gonna give me a lot of problems. So look at all that. That just fell out of there. That's disgusting. That was all underneath the brake cap. So now I get to remove the broken bolts here, or I have to end up replacing the brake lever with a new one. So we'll come back when I figure that out. All right, so after multiple attempts to remove these, it's just not gonna happen. And I've decided it ain't worth my time or effort or frustration to continue screwing with this. I'm just ordering a new brake lever and just leaving it at that. All right, so the pads are all installed. Got the calipers put on the front. I went ahead and changed the rear pads. Got this brake lever out of my way. Took everything out of my way that I needed to so I can easily access the air box. And that's where we're going next. All right, so now onto the air box. Got to install this intake manifold boot and bolt down the air box. And in just a second, and like that, air box is in. I won the fight. That thing was a pain to get in there, but I got it. So everything's good with that. Got the uni here. I need to oil that up, and then we can call the air box complete. I did go ahead and try to straighten up these handlebars after I heated up with a torch. Barely bent it. Ended up breaking a bolt there. I ended up having to replace, but I got them as good as they're gonna get for right now. Now we can move on to the rear and start working on getting that all buttoned up. Diff's in, guys. Tightened up, ready to rock. All right. Now we're moving on to the clutches. I have the primary sitting over here from Harvey's ATV Parts, Mother Clutcher brand. So I'm gonna take a Scotch-Brite pad and cross-hatch the sheaves and get them prepped and ready for this new Gates belt. I'll also do the same to this here secondary. I will cross-hatch the sheaves on that to prep it, and then we'll install them and torque them to spec. Here we go. Okay, so I just finished up cross-hatching the clutches, so they're ready to rock and go onto the machine. You can see, came out good. Did the secondary also, got it all good to go. So it's ready for this new Gates belt right here after I soak this in some Dawn soapy water and scrub it, get all the oils off of it that are on there from when they made it. And then we're gonna go ahead and put them in. Let's go. Well, guys, I accidentally deleted the footage of the secondary and primary with the belt on it with the cover off of it, where I went over the torque specs. So here, let's do that again with the cover on. Sorry about that. 37 foot-pounds on the secondary, 47 foot-pounds on the primary, and this is a left-handed thread bolt. That is a regular right-handed thread bolt on the secondary. So make sure you check if you have left-hand or right-hand thread bolts on your primary and secondary on any machine before you take them off. I do recommend doing that. I have found more and more left-hand thread bolts on some machines recently. So I always check, because if you mess up, it really is gonna hurt. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and say let's end this one off, and I will come back when we get the rest of this going.